Ms. Quintella, did you have anything else to say? Okay. Henry, I'm getting down the list. I'm so good. Henry, did you have anything?
Yes, ma'am, really quickly. I guess I think the recommendation to the Black Pearl School Board, is it possible that we could request from all of these superintendents a report on all of these issues that are concerning to us? Now, maybe it's already out there in the file, and they just need to, put all the data in one monthly report so we can see and track what's going on. That's one, and then, maybe, again, Black Pearl School Board might refer some of this to the grand jury so they could do some of the footwork and, bring some of these folks in and ask some questions. And my recommendation is when you write that letter to the grand jury, which I think they would do anyway, when I've seen them come over and investigate issues at the jail, they don't just talk to, commanders and the sheriff and managers. They come down and actually pull, individual officers into a room and say, tell me what you see here day to day. And it's confidential, and, you kind of get a sense that you can express what's going on. So I think a well-written letter to the grand jury might help that strategy. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hold on. Any other folks before I go to, Sherman? Steve.
I just want to make a comment on that. That's great to take that avenue as well, but I think we need to cover all paths. And historically, that hasn't worked for us. It's diplomacy-wise, it's a great tool, but when it comes down to it, it is about power. And sometimes the power is just a show of persons. And so we need to look at that avenue as well. Personally, I would like to see us address it all and all at once. Because again, as you go back to that organized strength and power, and that has always worked for us historically.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, Darlene. Carl, then Darlene.
In terms of your question, Henry, the first part in regards to the district, the Black Pearl School Board has and will continue to make the request from the superintendent about that data. However, that's our first step, and I think we will follow up with making it formal or subpoena, whatever else process. But we've already initially made that request, and we will continue to do that with the superintendent and with the board. We do need people to work with the Black Pearl School Board, which I strongly recommend for those who are really interested in this subject, to touch base with us or just make note here that you're really interested in this particular subject of school to pipeline, because I think one of the things is that our people are really great at really getting excited about the issue, but the real work begins after this meeting. And so we really need people who will help us compile the data, pursue the administration, and do those kinds of things in terms of pilot. And the last thing is it has to do with the grand jury. Initially, Sacramento Area Black Caucus submitted a request to the grand jury to investigate what was going on at the Sac City. And the new superintendent came in and says, look, everything is right. We're going through a whole lot of changes. There's nothing to see here. So I think one of the things that we have to be, what I think we need to think about going forward is to refiling another grand jury, but taking it up a notch up to the next level. But again, it takes a committed few people. It doesn't take mass. It takes a committed few people who are willing to live and die, wake up thinking about this, go to bed thinking about this, write this stuff. This is what makes real work versus coming together, expressing our views, and then we disappear. So for those who are really interested, like I said, in this subject, let me know, and then we'll work to pull together that team of people to do the research, to do the follow through, and those kinds of things, because there's a lot of issues in the district, and this is just one of many.
Okay, thank you. Darlene, then Ramona. And then we're going to be bringing it to a close.
I think that the contract for the police services in the district is $10 million. The additional $1.5 million came through just this past year, but it's a $10 million contract. And it's just our district alone. It's Sac City. It's not Elk Grove. It's not San Juan. It's not Twin Rivers, every district has to pay some money for services to the police and additional money whenever an alarm goes off or whenever they have to make a call or whenever they have to come out and do something that's not contracted, which is picking up students. You know, that's a different, you know, that's their agreement. And, you know, their agreement is safety, health and safety. But whose safety are we really talking about? And so I think that understanding what the policies are and how they've been implemented, it's, you know, we know the effect. The effect is what's happened to our community. It's been devastating. And we know that welfare was a devastating thing that when we migrated out here 30 or 40 years ago, welfare destroyed our families because it replaced the husband and the father in the families. And we had 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds having babies, and 15 years later, their children had some more babies, and 15 years later, their children had some more babies. But the real deal is that we did not pick up the baton and ensure that those children got an education. And so they are dysfunctional. I'm afraid of them too. When I go down the street, I'm afraid that one day somebody's gonna pop a cap, and it might be me. But we really, I mean, these kids have no fear of safety. They have no thought of death. It is just something they've seen in TV. And I'll tell you how crazy it is. My son is in the spectrum. And he said, Mom, Urkel warped into another program. I said, what do you mean he warped? He said, well, he warped. You know, he just went from one program. Look, he's over in this program now. And I said, see, this is how kids who don't have anyone to explain it to them perceive things. They really don't die. They just pop from one movie to the next. It's not a real thing for them. So I think we need to think about the way that media has played such a great impact in our communities, how it's also affecting our kids.
Okay, thank you. Ramona?
3 quick solutions I'd like to offer. One is that Title I, any district in program improvement, 10% of that funding has to be used for professional development. 10% of the Title I funding has to be used for professional development. I somewhat disagree with my young mentee, Onithia, over there. Our teachers should not be let off the hook. So they need to learn how to work with all of our children, particularly our African-American males, and there's money for that. The second thing is, there's a Dr. Rita Cameron Wedding.
Sex thing.
You know Rita,
Yep.
who has a grant from the juvenile justice system. Obama's doing his work, right? He's putting money into this. She does free training on bias, on racial prejudice in our systems, and talks about how that first suspension is really leading our children on a pipeline of prison. So what if we could, as various organizations, I'm AALC, Black Parallel School Board, Urban League, NAACP, could sponsor her to come to a setting, set up, you know, superintendent name badges, and say, come. I'm dismayed that Harold is the only elected here. I'm glad that he is. I know he's a friend. But how dare folks not come and hear